Charlie Cushane here to do another maintenance project on my 1913 Whiskey Barrel Model T. I was riding it around and parked it in my trailer, and I looked down and I noticed some fluid on the back wheel. So let's go take a look at what it looks like. Here's my Model T inside the trailer. If you go down to the back left wheel, you'll see right there at the ground, there's oil, and I believe it's differential oil. It's coming out of the differential, traveling down the axle past one and or two seals, and then coming out. As you can see, it's starting to drip right here. So, that's my project for today, is to determine, according to Lang's, I have to know if there's much play in the wheel bearings, because if there is a lot of play in the wheel bearings and or the sleeve, that would be wearing out the seal. And once I determine that, I can replace the seal. No sense in replacing the seal, it's just going to start leaking again. So let's start jacking it up and taking the wheel off. I already blocked the wheel over here, so that wheel's blocked, so it can't roll. What I'm going to do now is put this jack under, and I'm using an authentic antique jack. Why? Just because I can. I'm going to jack this up. There we go. Okay, time to start taking stuff apart. First thing is the cap. There we go. Now we gotta remove the cotter pin. Okay. There we go, got a pin out. Now take the nut off. Put all the stuff down here. There's a washer here too. Okay. There we go. And let's take a look. Sure enough, look at that oil. See it? Okay, put the wheel aside for now. There's a lot of grease on there. A lot of oil, I should say. You can see it coming right out of the bottom. That came off. The tilt washer. Here's the big washer. There it is. That came out. And this. Wow. It feels like the shit is nice and solid. So the bearing is fine. That's what I was really trying to determine today. The bearing is fine with the sleeve. Now I just got to take it all apart and put a new seal in there. One spring. The other spring and a brake shoe. Here's the other brake shoe. Okay, now according to Lang's, I need to take the bearing out and the sleeve and see. So here's the bearing. That came out beautiful. Here's the sleeve. And I have to get that out. And there's a special tool for that. Okay, here's the special tool. It has a little catch. Okay, in order to get the sleeve out, you have to take out this grease cup that's on the back side, because that goes through the sleeve to lubricate. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take this out. There we go. There. Now we can try to get that sleeve out again. There we go. Now it's in there. Now it's... I don't know which way you're supposed to turn. It's coming, but it's not coming willingly. Whew! And it's out. That's the sleeve I was getting out. Whew! Let's wipe it off and take a look. Okay, the next thing we have to get out is the seal. I'm going to try a magnet on a stick. So we'll see if this can get that seal out of there, because we got to inspect it. I'm stuck on it. Oh, I may have to go around several times. Having two of these would be better. It's almost out. There's the seal. Oh my word. Well, the seal looks in good shape. And it's a nice tight fit to the shaft. So, according to Lang's, the seal is probably in perfect condition. And according to the Langs, they told me, Henry Ford knew he had this problem on early cars. And consequently, on later cars, 14 and later, they moved the differential fill plug down 1.5 inches to lower the fluid level. So, I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to put this all back together again because the seal looks good. One other thing I have to do, which I haven't done yet, is measure all the components. Lane gave me all the dimensions of bearings and shafts, and I'm going to go measure everything now. Make sure they're in tolerance and not worn out. And then we'll go from there. See you in a minute. Okay, here's the bearing. The first thing I measured, according to Lang's, is the dimension across the bearings. It's supposed to be 499. I got 498 on every single one. So that's a good sign. So that means the bearing really isn't worn at all, maybe 1/1000th of an inch. That's great. So that's one thing cleared. Another thing they asked me to check was the shaft, 1.062. And I'm 1.062 exactly. Perfect. So that's not worn. And they said the sleeve should be 068 according to the material they make it out of. Yeah, I got 070, so measurement error. Yeah, 70. All right, so nothing's worn out. The sleeve looks good. The seal looks good. I'm just going to lower the fluid in the differential, and hopefully that'll solve it. Time to put stuff back together again. All right, to get this sleeve in, I put a couple clamps on, rubber tipped, and I'm compressing it so I can get it started. It goes this way. I know, because there's a bump right there. See that bump? That has to line up with this hole right here, and that keeps the sleeve from rotating. There's a hole right here, and that hole keeps it from rotating, so I know it has to go this way. I just need to get it started in the hole. There we go. We're getting there. Okay, take that one off. All right, we're getting there. Okay. I think I get everything lined up. There we go. All lined up. Perfect. All right. Time to lubricate. I cleaned the bearing. Now it's time to lubricate it. Put some grease in there. Now I can put the bearing back in. It's the washer. next thing is the felt. There we go. And the last thing is this cover. There. Now, the next thing to put in is the key. And I was told, as you can see, the key has a bevel right there on the end. That should go in and toward the front, like this. Just like that. There we go. Now, put the brake shoes back on. That's where patience is a virtue. I think we'll go like this and go up. There. There we go. Now you may recall, I did clean out the inside of this. So now, spin it around and put it on, lining up the keyway. And another key to the bottom right. There we go. There we go. That's better. Now, next thing is this big thick washer. Then the nut. Okay, now, as far as the nut's concerned, I talked to Langs, and they said there's all different rules on how to tighten this, but one of the safest is maybe torque it to around 70 foot-pounds, and then try to line up the cotter pin. That way you can go a little bit more if you have to. So I have my torque wrench set at 70. Foot-pounds. There, right there. How are we as far as lining up? Oh, I think we're perfect. There. There we go. There we go. That's not coming off. All right. Now put the dust cap back on. There we go. And then one last detail. We have to go back around, put the grease cup back in. So let's do that. All right. Let's put this grease cup back in. This grease cup is the one used to grease the wheel bearings. There we go. And then you put this back on. It has grease in it, so I'm all set there. There we go. Okay, the next thing we have to do is lower this down off of the jack. I tell you, this old jack works great. And then, as instructed by Don Lang, we should remove some of the fluid from this back differential because it's probably too high when I originally filled it. So I got a wrench. And they said, yeah, it's a bit too high. I have this, almost looks like a grease gun, but you pull it and it'll suck or push heavy duty fluids. So we'll try this. I don't know if I can get it down low enough. Just touching my pinky. And I stick it in there. And that's about 1 inch long. Right there. I think that's perfect. We're going to leave it right there. Okay, now it's time to try to start this up and take it for a spin. So the first thing I do is give it 2 primes. There we go. Almost started on its own. All up to you. Tight.